Hello from Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Today we're going to look at 5 things, maybe 6, from Deuteronomy 31 and 32. First, Moses is 120 years old at this point. He spent the first 40 years as an Egyptian getting all the training to be part of the royal household. And then he spent his second 40 years as a Midianite shepherd. And then the third 40 years leading the people of Israel in the wilderness out of Egypt. So now Moses is getting ready to hand the people over to Joshua. 2, Moses is encouraging Joshua and the people that they need to stay strong, stay faithful in what God has given them. Number 3, Moses also gives them more things to remember, like, hey, don't forget the 7th year of release. 6 years you can charge people for their debt, and if they pay it off, great, but on the 7th year, if they haven't paid it off, you release that. It's gone. If you had a servant who sold themselves to be an indentured servant to you to pay off a debt, you've got to let them go in the 7th year. Don't forget that. Number 4, the Lord is calling Moses to prepare to die. God himself begins to prophesy to Moses and Joshua that these people that are going into the promised land are going to forsake him. They're going to forsake God. So God is going to teach Moses a song, which Moses then sings in chapter 32, as a reminder that they should stay faithful to God, but that also God says, when you are unfaithful to me, you'll remember this song, and it will be like a bitter memory to you because I told you so. And we know God's prophecy comes true that they go seek other gods as soon as the book of Judges. I mean, it isn't very long that they're in the promised land there. 5, Moses talks about finishing writing the law, the Tanakh, the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible, the book of the law. He's written them, and then he places them inside the Ark of the Covenant. So I kind of always thought it was a copy of the 10 Commandments, but it kind of sounds like it's a book here, like a set of scrolls. Comment down in the comment section what you think there. And then finally, just a side note, they're going to use, the King James is going to use the word dragon here. The word dinosaur was not invented until the 1850s, so anytime that could have been translated in the Old Testament here in the King James, it might say dragon. Now looking at the Hebrew, the word is tannin, which is same word from Genesis 1:21 that sometimes gets translated whale, so it's some sort of sea creature there. It's also the same word that's translated when Moses throws down his staff, he gets a tannin. So we've always assumed it's a snake, but perhaps it's some other creature. And it's a handful of times throughout the Old Testament, but don't freak out when it says dragon. Maybe it really is a dragon. Anyway, let's jump into it. Deuteronomy 31. And Moses went and spake these words unto all Israel, and he said to them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. As the Lord hath said unto me, thou shalt not go over this Jordan. The Lord thy God, he will go over before thee, and he will destroy the nations from before thee. And thou shalt possess them. And Joshua, he shall go over before thee, as the Lord has said. And the Lord shall do unto them as he did to Sihon and Og, the kings of the Amorites, and unto the land of them whom he destroyed. And the Lord shall give them up before your face, that ye may do unto them according to the commandments which I have commanded you. And what God really promised that would happen. Be strong and of good courage, fear not, nor be afraid of them, for the Lord thy God, he it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail unto thee, nor forsake thee. And Moses called unto Joshua, and said unto him in the sight of all Israel, Be strong, and be of good courage, for thou must go with this people unto the land which the Lord hath sworn unto their fathers to give them. And thou shalt cause them to inherit it. And the Lord, he it is who goes before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed. And Moses wrote this law, and delivered it to the priests, the sons of the Levi, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and unto the elders of Israel. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the feast of tabernacles, when all Israel is to come appear before the Lord thy God, in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before the Lord in Israel. So, remember that year of release, but also read the whole law in front of Israel. So, every 7 years they're hearing it, they should know it. Gather the people together, men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear, and that they may learn, and fear the Lord your God, and observe to do all the words of this law, and that their children which have not known anything may hear, and learn to fear the Lord your God, as long as you live in the land whither you go over Jordan to possess it. And the Lord said unto Moses, behold, thy days approach, that thou must die. Call Joshua, and present yourselves in the tabernacle of the congregation, that I may give him a charge. And Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tabernacle of the congregation. And the Lord appeared in the tabernacle in a pillar of cloud, and the pillar of cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle. And the Lord said unto Moses, behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go a-whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land, whither they go to be among them, and will forsake me, and break my covenant which I have made with them. So Moses is going to die, and then after that, they're going to worship other gods. Then my anger will be kindled against him in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say this day, are not these evils coming upon us, because our God is not among us? And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they shall have wrought, in that they are turned unto other gods. Now therefore write ye this song, and teach it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swear to their fathers, that floweth with milk and honey, that they shall have eaten and filled themselves and waxen fat, then will they turn to other gods and serve them, and provoke me, and break my covenant. And it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are befallen them, that this song shall testify against them as a witness. For it shall not be forgotten out of their mouths, of their seed. For I know their imagination, which they go about, even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear. So God says they even have the imaginations of serving other gods right now. Oh my. And it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are befallen, that this song shall testify against them as a witness. For it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. I know their imagination. I said that. Moses therefore wrote this song the same day, and taught it to the children of Israel. And he gave Joshua the son of Nun a charge, saying, be strong and of good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swear to thee, and I will be with thee. And it came to pass, when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book, until they were finished, that Moses commanded the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, saying, take this book of the law, put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God, that it may be there as a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Lord. And how much more after my death? Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes, and to your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against them. For I know that after my death you will be utterly corrupt, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil will befall you in the latter days, because you will do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. And Moses spake in the words of the congregation of Israel all the words of this song until they were ended. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak. This is chapter 32. And hear, O earth, the words of my mouth. My doctrine shall drop as rain, my speech shall distill as the dew. As the small rain on the tender herb, and as the shadows upon the grass, because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God. He is the rock, His work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he. They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are perverse and a crooked generation. Do ye thus requite the Lord, O foolish people, and unwise? Is not he the Father that bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee. The elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, so he set bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in the desert land and in the waste, howling wilderness. He led him about and instructed him and kept him as the apple of his eye. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them and beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead him, and there was no strange God with him. He made him ride on the high places of the earth, that he may eat of the increase of the fields. And he made him to suck honey out of the rock, and oil out of the flinty rock, butter of kine, and milk of sheep, with fat of lambs, and the rams of the breed of Bashan, and goats with the fat of the kidneys of wheat. And thou didst drink the pure blood of the grape. But Jeshurun waxed fat, and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook God which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods. With abomination provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that newly came up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten God that formed thee. And when the Lord saw it, he abhorred them, because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end will be, for they are a froward generation, children in whom is no faith. And they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those who are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. That actually kind of sounds like he's talking about the Gentiles, that God eventually will provoke the Jews by allowing the Gentiles to hear the word also. For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn into the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth in her increase, and set fire on the mountains. I will heap mischief upon them. I will spend mine arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. And I said I would scatter them to the corners. I would make them a remembrance of them to cease from among men. So people are just going to forget about them. Were it not that I feared the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave against them strangely, and lest they should say, Our hand is high, and the Lord has not done all this. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise, that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. How should one chase 1,000 and put 10,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except that their rock has sold them, that the Lord hath shut them up? For their rock is not as our rock, even our enemies themselves being judges. For their vine is the vine of Sodom, and the fields of Gomorrah, and their grapes are grapes of gall, and their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, and the venom of asps. Is not this laid up in store with me, and sealed up among my treasures? To me belongeth vengeance and recompense, for their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. For the Lord shall judge his people, and repent himself for his servants, when he seeth their power is gone, and there is none shut up, left. And he shall say, Where are the gods, their rock in whom they trusted, which did eat the fat of their sacrifices, and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you. Let them be your protection. Hey, you're going to worship God, a different God than me. Hey, let them protect you from me. See what happens. Woo! See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven, and I say, I live forever. If I whet my glittering sword, and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and will reward them that hate me. And I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh. And that with the blood of the slain, and of the captives, and of the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Rejoice, O nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and be merciful unto his land and to his people. That's a song. And Moses came and spake all the words of this song unto the ears of the people, he and Hoshea son of Nun, Joshua. And Moses made an end of speaking all these words to Israel. And he said to them, Set your hearts unto the words which I testify you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe to do, all the words of this law. For it is not a vain thing for you, because it is your life. And through this thing you shall prolong your days in the land, whether ye go over to Jordan to possess it. And the Lord spake to Moses that selfsame day, saying, Get thee up into this mountain, Abarim, unto Mount Nebo, which is the land of Moab, that is over against Jericho. And behold, the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children for a possession. And die in the mount whither thou goest up, and be gathered unto thy people, as Aaron thy brother died in Mount Hor, and was gathered to his people. Because ye trespassed against me among the children of Israel at the waters of Meribah, Kadesh, in the wilderness of Zin, because ye sanctified me not in the midst of the children of Israel. Yet thou shalt see the land before thee, but thou shalt not go thither unto the land which I give unto the children. So he's just reminding Moses, hey, remember that one time I told you to go speak to the rock, and in front of the children of Israel you did not speak to the rock, you hit it with your stick instead? Yeah? You and Aaron have to die, and now's your time. Go up onto this mountain, and you'll die there. You get to see the promised land, but you don't get to go in. So we're beginning to see this handed off torch. So thanks for joining us today. Super excited. Tomorrow we'll finish off Deuteronomy, and that's kind of the end of Moses's career. We see kind of the books go as from Abraham to making a family, into a nation without a land, and now Moses has taken them to a nation with a land. They're about to become that nation. Well, that's pretty exciting. It's a great book. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.